taxation during the Spanish period. So what is taxation? Taxation is a process by which of the sovereign through lawmaking body prices revenues used to defray expenses of government. It is the way of the government increase its revenue under the authority of the law, purposely used to promote welfare and protection of its citizenry. It is the collection of the share of individual and organizational income by the government under the authority of the law. We all familiar about the word taxation, right? Especially to those who have work and have a business. Kailangan talaga natin magbayad ng taxes even though wala tayong trabaho at wala tayong business. Kasi yung mga binibili mo sa labas ay may tax talaga yan. At akala ko noon na hindi ka na magbabayad ng taxes kung wala kang trabaho at wala ka ring business. So, mali ako noon kasi kailangan mo talagang magbayad ng tax. Reasons the Philippines were required to pay taxes. The first one is us recognition of the sovereignty over the colonies, and the second one to defray the expenses of pacification and governance. So we need to pay taxes para yung gobyerno natin may ibibigay rin sa ating society at sa ating mga healthcare at iba pa. We have 5 kinds of taxes during the Spanish period. First one is tributo, the second one is sanctorum, the third one is donativo, the fourth one is caja de comunidad, and the fifth one is the servicio personal. Tributo was a general tax paid by Filipinos to Spain. The tax amounted 8 reals per year. Those who have required to pay the tributo were the 18 to 50 years old, the carpenters, the bricklayers, the blacksmith, the tailor, and the shoemakers. The town workers such as those road construction and those who is public in nature. So, itong tributo is a general tax paid by the Filipinos to Spain. And it is amounted 8 reals. Kung i-convert natin to sa Philippine peso, itong 8 reals, it is amounted of 74.62 pesos. And it is required to pay tribute to the 18 to 50 years of age for those who have work carpenter, the bricklayers, and others. Sanctorum was a tax in the amount of 3 reals. These were required for the cost of Christianization, including the construction of the churches and the purchase of materials for religious celebrations. So, itong sanctorum, it is a tax in amounted of the 3 reals. Kapag i-convert na naman natin ito sa Philippine peso, it is equivalent of 152 pesos. Donativo was a tax in amount of half real. If you will convert it to the Philippine peso, it is equivalent of 4.66. It is used for the military campaign on the government against the Muslim. In later years, the amount was used exclusively used for the Spanish of fort in Zamboanga. Caja de comunidad was tax collected amount of 1 real used for the expenses of the town in the construction of the road, repair of bridges, or improvement of public building. This tax collected amount of 1 real, if we will convert it to the Philippine peso, it is equivalent of 9.37, and it is used for expenses of the town in the construction of the road, repair of bridges, or improvement of the public building. So this is the use of the caja de comunidad tax. Servicio personal. Polo-wise servicio is a system of forced labor. It was present in almost all of the Spanish colonial government around the world. Forced labor of 40 days of men ranging from 16 to 60 years of age were obliged to personal services to community project. It is very hard to gain money before, and instead of paying money, they paying the tax using the personal services.
So now our next topic is about revolts against the tribute. So what do you mean by revolt? Revolt means to break away from or rise against constituted authority by an open rebellion. So the following are Cagayan Dingras revolts. It occurred in Luzon in the present of Cagayan, Ilocos Norte in year 1589. The second revolt is the Somoroy's Revolt. Augustine Somoroy, a Waray, and some of his followers rose in arms on June 1, 1649 over the Pulo E-service or the forced labor system undertaken in Samar. The third one is the Maniagos Revolt. It was an uprising in Pampanga during the 1660s named after its leader, Francisco Maniago. Another is the tax reform of 1884. It was introduced in the 19th century as provided by the Royal Decree on March 6, 1884. So there are two important provisions. First is the abolition of the hated tribute and its replacement of cedula tax. So when we say abolition, it is the act of officially ending or stopping an event. And cedula tax is a document that is issued to an individual or business entity upon payment or community tax. Next is reduction of the 40-day annual forced labor to 15 days. So from 40 days to 15 days ang ilahang pag-labor na lang. Then another is the cedulas personales. Were first issued based on the Royal Decree on March 6, 1884, and all residents of the island, Spaniards, foreigners, and natives who were 18 years old were required to obtain the said cedula.
Good day everyone, my name is Chinami Nagubat and I am here to report about the taxation in the Philippines. So there are two basic types of taxes in the Philippines. We call it national and local government. So national refer to national internal revenue taxes imposed and collected by the national government through BIR. So the main types of national taxes include number one is income tax, second is the value added tax, and the third one is the excise tax. So income tax, this is a tax on all yearly profits arising from property professions, trades, or offices, or as a tax on a person's income, emoluments, profits, and the like. So, the value added tax is a tax on consumption levied on a sale, barter, exchange, or less of goods or properties and services in the Philippines and an importation of goods in the Philippines. While excise tax, this is a tax on goods manufactured or produced in the Philippines for domestic sale or consumption or for any other disposition on an imported goods. Goods rather. While in the local government refers to those imported and collected by local government. So the main types of local taxes includes real property tax. Real property tax, this is an annual tax collected by the local government unit, what we call the LGU, from the property owners in their area based on the assessed value of the property. So the second one is the business tax. This is a tax on business operating within the jurisdiction of the LGU. The rate varies depending on the nature of the business and the LGU's tax ordinance. So the third one is the community tax. Community tax, this is a tax imposed on residents of the Philippines, corporations, and other juridical entities or associations. The community tax is a combination of residence tax and income tax. During the pre-colonial period in 915-21, government were called barangays. So there was no datu strong enough to unite the archipelago into one nation. So some barangays are united to or for confederation and was headed by a ruler called Datu or Maha or Maja. Sorry. So ancient Filipinos practiced paying taxes per their protection from the ruler called the Datu. So the next part of this report will be reported by Mr. John Lloyd Casugot. That's all. Thank you.
So ngayon ay ipagpatuloy ko ang Philippine taxation. And the first is shifting. Family member were enjoying exemption from paying taxes. So, example dito ay mga leader ng mga tribo like Igorot at mga Ifugao. Sila ay hindi na nagbabayad ng buwis dahil sila yung nagpapatuloy ng ating kultura. Then, and the second is non-payment of taxes was already punishable this period. So, ang hindi pagbabayad ng buwis sa Pilipinas ay may halagang parusa tulad ng imprisonment and heavy fines. So, when we say imprisonment, maaari tayong makulong ng 10 taon o mahigit pa at magbabayad ng 500,000 pesos o kalahating milyon. And the third is that judicial process was influenced by religion and by waiting the intervention of the deities. So, example dito ay ang mga karapatan ng mga inaabuso at nag-involve ito ng mga pera or amount of money. So, during pre-colonial period, there are 3 classes, and the first is Timawa. Timawa was known as the warrior class of the 3rd rank of the nobility of free men, neither chiefs or slave. So ang mga Timawa ay mga kataas-taasan sa mga panahon dati at sa panahon ngayon na pinagtatrabahuan ng mga ulipon or slaves. So, ang the second is Tumawo class, where the nobility of pure royal descent o example dito ay ang mga dato. Para maging isang dato ay dapat may mapatunayan ka or may maipapatunayan ka sa mga tao na ikaw ay karapat-dapat na magiging dato at kanilang paglilingkuran. Then ang panghuli ay the third is ang ulipon or ulipon class, known as the commoner slaves rendered services to the Thomas and Timawa for tip o sila yung mga tinatawag nating mga katulong para mabayaran nila ang mga pinagkakautangan nila, yung mga buwis sa pamamagitan ng pagtatrabaho sa dato o sa mga Timawa. At yun lang po. Thank you.